Oval Office outrage. The orange Hitler high-fives a jihadist on the eve of honoring our heroes. Picture this. It's the day before Veterans Day, that sacred stretch of calendar when America pauses to salute the brave souls who stormed beaches, dodged wides, and came home in flag-draped coffins so the rest of us could argue about football and freedom fries. The air's crisp with autumn chill, parades are gearing up, and families are pinning poppies to their lapels. Then, in a move that could only come from the fever swamps of Mar-a-Lago realpolitik, the orange Hitler swings open the Oval Office doors and ushers in Ahmed al-Sharaa, the very same Ahmed al-Sharaa, whose resume reads like a greatest hits album of Al-Qaeda's bloodiest anthems. Suicide bombings. Check. Sectarian slaughter. Double check. Ethnic cleansing that left Christian villages in Syria smoldering like forgotten campfires. You betcha. And there they are, two men with more baggage than a transatlantic flight, shaking hands like old frat buddies over a keg of peace in the Middle East. If irony had a Twitter account, it'd be screaming in all caps right now. This isn't just a diplomatic whoopsie. It's a gut punch to every Gold Star mother, every Purple Heart vet limping through a VFW hall, every active-duty kid wondering if their commander-in-chief has their back or just a Sharpie for signing deferments. Al-Sharaa, once known by his jihadi nom de guerre Abu Mohammed al-Jalani, isn't some reformed shoplifter peddling a redemption arc on TikTok. This guy's track record is etched in the kind of history books that come with trigger warnings. Born in 1982 to a Syrian family bouncing between Riyadh and Damascus, he hopped the border into Iraq just in time for the 2003 U.S. invasion, linking up with Al-Qaeda's local chapter like a kid rushing to join the cool rebels at recess. Captured by American forces in 2006, he spent 5 years in a Bucca prison camp, think of it as terrorist summer school, before getting sprung in 2011, right as Syria's Arab Spring dreams curdled into civil war. Fresh out of the slammer, al-Sharaa didn't waste time on job hunting or therapy. No, he channeled that fresh air freedom into founding Jabhat al-Nusra in 2012, Al-Qaeda's official Syrian franchise, bankrolled with a cool $50,000 from Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi's Islamic State precursors. Under his watch, al-Nusra didn't just fight Assad's barrel bombs, they turned Idlib into a jihadist playground of horror. Suicide bombers plowed into Damascus checkpoints, killing hundreds in the first few months alone. Kidnappings became a tidy little business model. Snatch a factory owner here, ransom a civilian there, loot the spoils to fund more holy war. And the minorities. Alawites, Christians, Druze, Shia. Anyone who didn't fit the Salafi script got the full sectarian special. Massacres that left villages echoing with ghosts, forced conversions at gunpoint, and ethnic cleansing campaigns that the UN later tallied in reports thicker than a Tolstoy novel. By 2013, when Baghdadi tried to fold al-Nusra into his budding ISIS caliphate, al-Sharaa played coy, publicly swearing allegiance to Ayman al-Zawahiri instead, kicking off a bloody intra-jihadist feud that turned Syrian backroads into kill zones. Fast forward through the rebrands, al-Nusra morphs into Jabhat Fateh al-Sham in 2016, cuts the al-Qaeda cord, or so he claims, then fuses into Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, in 2017, and you've got al-Sharaa, the man with a $10 million US bounty on his head, playing warlord in Idlib like it's his personal fiefdom. HTS wasn't just militants in black balaclavas. It was a ministate enforcing Sharia light, taxing civilians into oblivion, and clashing with everyone from ISIS psychos to Kurdish SDF fighters America once armed to the teeth. By December 2024, when his rebel coalition finally topples Bashar al-Assad after 13 years of carnage, al-Sharaa's got the keys to Damascus. January 2025 rolls around, and boom, he's Syria's interim president, the guy who went from global pariah to Oval Office guest faster than you can say. Strategic pivot. Enter the Orange Hitler, stage right, with his trademark flair for the Faustian bargain. Their first tete-a-tete, May 2025 in Riyadh, where Trump slaps al-Shara on the back, calls him a young, attractive guy, tough guy, strong past, very strong past, fighter. Words that could double as a Tinder bio for a Bond villain. By November 7, the U.S. Treasury yanks al-Shara's specially designated global terrorist tag, along with his Interior Minister buddy Anas Khattab. Sanctions. Waived for 180 days, with whispers of permanent repeal dangling like a carrot on a very long stick. Then, on November 10, the literal eve of Veterans Day, al-Shara struts into the White House for the first Syrian leader visit since Hafez Assad's dad shook hands with Truman in 1946. No press gawkers, just closed-door chit-chat on counterterrorism, economic normalization, and Syria joining the U.S.-led ISIS coalition. Trump emerges glowing, vowing to do everything we can to make Syria successful, while al-Shara jets off to assent. Regis sweet, playing chess like a king who's just checkmated the universe. The White House spin, pure diplomacy gold, peace through pragmatism, turning foes into friends, yada yada. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt chirps that it's all about meeting with anyone around the world in the pursuit of peace. Syria's side, al-Shara tells reporters they skipped the past. For the present and future, positioning his war-ravaged nation as Washington's new Middle East BFF. HTS even timed a pre-visit flex, nabbing 71 alleged ISIS goons to prove they're the good jihadists now. And hey, the Kurds' SDF commander Mazloum Abdi chimes in with a phone call to U.S. Ambassador Tom Barrack, nodding to integration into the Syrian state, because nothing says unity like folding America's anti-ISIS proxies into a former al-Qaeda outfit. But spare me the Kool-Aid. This isn't realpolitik, it's a betrayal wrapped in a red, white, and blue bow. Veterans Day is for honoring the fallen, not fading the architects of their nightmares. Al-Shara's al-Nusra didn't just bomb Syrian cops, they targeted U.S. interests, inspired copycats, and spilled American blood indirectly through the jihadist ecosystem he helped build. Remember the 2015 Paris attacks. Al-Qaeda fingerprints all over, courtesy of the same ideological swamp al-Shara swam in. And now, on the cusp of a day meant to salve those wounds, the Orange Hitler, the same clown who once sneered that fallen soldiers were suckers and losers, who balked at visiting Ace-Namarn cemetery because rain might muss his coif, who griped that amputee vets don't look good. In photos, greets this guy like a long-lost golfing pal. John Kelly, his own ex-chief of staff, spilled the beans again this week on that sucker's slur, confirming Trump saw military sacrifice as a loser's game. It's like inviting the arsonist to roast marshmallows over the firefighter's memorial. The backlash, it's a bipartisan bonfire, and rightly so. Veterans groups are apoplectic. Paul Rieckhoff, founder of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, blasted it on CNN as a slap in the face to every service member who fought ISIS and al-Qaeda. The American Legion's national commander fired off a letter to the White House, calling the meeting tone-deaf and a disgrace that undermines 2 decades of counterterrorism blood and treasure. On X, the Furies unfiltered, one vet from Ohio posted a photo of his Purple Heart next to a screen grab of the Trump-al-Shara handshake, captioning it, "This is who died for your strong past, buddy. Fubar doesn't cover it." Another, a retired Marine from Texas, ranted, "I lost buddies to al-Qaeda scum like this guy's crew. Now he's sipping tea in the Oval while we salute the dead. Trump's not commander-in-chief, he's commander-in-clown." Even some MAGA diehards are cracking. Laura Loomer, that human foghorn of far-right screeds, called it a catastrophic mistake. That spits in veterans' faces, demanding sanctions stay locked and al-Shara get the boot. And the hypocrisy. It's thicker than the Orange Hitler's foundation. Just weeks ago, in the cutthroat scrum of New York City's mayoral race, Republican heavyweights like Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa were slinging terrorist sympathizer mud at Zoran Mamdani, a progressive Palestinian-American assemblyman with zero ties to extremism. Mamdani, fresh off a primary win, got hammered for a Fox News flub where he dodged a gotcha on Hamas disarming. Cue the death threats, AI deepfakes of him as a keffiyeh-clad crook, and Loomer howling about another 9/11 on his watch. Elise Stefanik's PAC flooded inboxes with Hamas terrorist sympathizer fundraisers. Vicky Palladino branded him a known jihadist terrorist on radio, demanding deportation despite his U.S. citizenship. No evidence. PFFT details. It was Islamophobia on steroids, the kind that paints every brown face with a beard as a bomb vest waiting to happen. Now, crickets from that crowd as the orange Hitler rolls out the literal red carpet for an actual Al-Qaeda alum. Cuomo, who laughed along to radio jabs about Mamdani, cheering a 9/11 sequel, stays mum. Sliwa, who accused Mamdani of backing global jihad, suddenly discovers nuance in Oval Office optics. It's the classic GOP playbook. Smear the progressive Muslim for sport, then pivot to, but he's our terrorist now when geopolitics demands a photo op. As one ex-user nailed it, if Mamdani shook hands with a reformed pickpocket, it'd be jihadist enabler. But Trump with al-Sharaa, bold diplomacy, hypocrisy level, expert. The contrast isn't just stunning, it's infuriating, a masterclass in selective outrage that exposes the whole America First shtick as allies first, unless they're brown. Dig deeper, and you see the rot. This isn't about peace. It's about power plays that could boomerang on America's fighting men and women. Al-Sharaa's rebrand is about as convincing as a mullet at a board meeting. Sure, HTS delisted from the terror roster in July 2025, and he's mouthing platitudes about protecting minorities, Christians, Druze, the works. But reports from Idlib whisper otherwise. Arbitrary arrests, Sharia courts doling out floggings, and fresh clashes with Kurds that smell like old grudges. His post-meeting jab at Israel over the Golan Heights. A not-so-subtle middle finger to Trump's 2019 recognition, signaling no Abraham Accords handshake anytime soon. And those 71 ISIS busts. Convenient PR, but experts like the Atlantic Council's Omer Ozkazilsik warn its window dressing for a regime still incubating extremism in refugee camps and desert hideouts. Veterans aren't buying the sales pitch. Take Maria Gonzalez. Wait, no, make that SGT. Maria Ruiz, a 12-year Desert Storm vet from Phoenix who's been volunteering at VA clinics since Bush 41. She watched the handshake clip on her phone during a coffee break and nearly shattered her mug. My husband lost a leg to an Al-Qaeda bomb in Fallujah. She told me over a scratchy Zoom from her Arizona living room, eyes like flint. Guys like al-Sharaa built that network. Now Trump's treating him like a statesman. On the day we're prepping to honor the dead, it's betrayal, plain and simple. Our blood bought this country's credibility. Don't piss it away for some oil deal or ego stroke. Ruiz isn't alone. A VFW poll snapped post-meeting showed 68% of respondents calling it disrespectful, with 82% saying it erodes trust in military leadership. Zoom out, and the bigger picture's a funhouse mirror of the orange Hitler's foreign policy funhouse. Remember how he cuddled up to Kim Jong-un, swapping love letters with a new courting tyrant, or his Saudi sword dance while Yemen starved. This is that playbook on steroids. Deal with dictators or ex-jihadists first. Ask questions never. The user's rant nails it. The orange Hitler isn't fighting for America. He's building a Rolodex of strongmen for when the indictments drop and the files fly open. Steal from vets' funds to pad Saudi checks. Check. Cozy with Putin while Ukraine bleeds. Double check. Al-Sharaa fits right in a potential extradition shield or disinformation depot when the legal noose tightens. And the Dems. Yeah, they're sleepwalking through this. too slow on oversight hearings or sanctions snapbacks, letting the trap snap shut while America foots the bill. But here's the spark and the sarcasm. This outrage could be the wake-up call. Bipartisan fury means bipartisan fixes, congressional holds on Caesar Act repeals, intel briefings that actually brief, and a veto-proof bill mandating al-Shara prove his reform with deeds, not chess moves. Veterans like Ruiz are organizing, petitions circling 100,000 signatures, town halls packing VFW posts, even a viral X thread from a Green Beret vet demanding, audit every dollar to Syria before another boot hits the sand. Joyce White Vance, that ex-US attorney with the podcast that cuts through BS like a KABAR, dissected it on Substack. Trump's not pivoting to peace, he's auditioning autocrats. But courts and Congress can clip those wings before al-Shara's future loops back to our past horrors. As Veterans Day fades into infamy, not for unity, but for this grim Oval Office farce, let's not forget the real story. It's not the handshakes or the waivers. It's the heroes we honor today, the ones who didn't dodge the fight. They deserve better than a president playing footsie with their foes, better than hypocrisy that smears one man while saluting another. America's got the muscle to demand accountability. Call your reps, flood the feeds, turn this slap into a standoff. Because if the orange Hitler's building traps, we build tripwires. And in the end, the suckers aren't the soldiers. They're the enablers who let this clown car careen unchecked. Santiago, D.C., Maria, November 11, 2025.